This is Terra Nil. It's a pretty small-time indie game that I had not heard of until like another YouTuber called it out, and I forgot who that YouTuber was, so I can't credit them. But it was on somebody's like end-of-year list of games that they didn't want people to miss. They described it as being like Factorio, but in reverse, where instead of dominating a landscape with machines, you're trying to revive a landscape that has been dominated by machines. But after having played one round of it, I don't think that's quite accurate, because Factorio, now I haven't played Factorio, but I've played a lot of other games that are considered to be sort of like, inspired by or related to Factorio, things like Satisfactory. Those are all about like logistics and trying to make a thing happen over time, and sort of coordinating all the pieces of a machine together. This feels actually a lot more like Islanders. And I've done a stream of Islanders before, so you can go check that out if you want to, but this is less about, as far as I can tell anyway, this is less about making a machine work and more about trying to plan ahead and cleverly place items so that you can maximize the score you get from them. So let's play in the initial area. So again, I've only played one round of this, and I don't even quite know how you succeed at the game exactly, because I played through to some degree. I was like, oh, okay, I think I understand this well enough to start streaming it, but I still have a lot to learn here. Okay, so what you've got is this blasted landscape. All of the soil is corrupted, nothing can grow in it. You got some rocks, you got some trees, and all of this is procedurally generated. The last time I played, it didn't look like this. It looked different. So now you've got a series of interdependent buildings that you can build. All of them require power, so you have to start with, well, at least I think most of them require power. You have to start with a turbine. So let's place a turbine right here. Okay, so now that I've got a wind turbine, and turbines could only go on these rocks. They have to be like elevated above the normal terrain. So once I've got a turbine, I can place a toxic scrubber right here. And so actually, okay, I can place any number of toxic scrubbers anywhere within the bounds of this windmill. So what I probably want to do is build one as far from the windmill as I can, so I can actually have multiple ones with overlapping zones. So let's put one right here. All right, so this guy now has made all of the land around it fertile. And because I've got that fertile land, I can place a greenhouse, which will basically plant a bunch of plants in this fertile territory, like so. And then I collect that as the currency that I can then spend on other things. And that's where it really starts to remind me of Islanders, because, you know, yeah, it's like you're trying to build up this score that is what sustains you through a longer game. And the way you get it is by clever placement of the things you have. You'll notice the shape of the area that the scrubber created is very different from the shape of the area that the greenhouse created. That is on purpose, because they want it to be impossible to just solve the game and have a completely perfect playthrough. And so that means that they make these sort of uncomfortable mismatches between the areas of effect of different elements of the game, so that you can't just nail it and say, oh well, I'll put this square here and then this square perfectly overlapping the other square, or these tessellate just perfectly. Like you can't do that in this game. So one of the other tools you have is a water pump. So when you place a water pump, you can see how far its water that it pumps is going to go. You have to put it in range of a windmill. And so I know that I'll be able to put another one down here somewhere, because I've got all these rocks, and I can put a windmill here. I could also put another windmill here, so I'm not worried about how far it goes in that direction. However, down here, there's nowhere I can place a windmill. I do have a way of getting more rocks, but those depend on water. So I think the most important thing for me to do is to get water to go as far down these routes as possible. Right? Is that... So I'll place this one here. You notice each of these has a cost. They're pulling from this pool of currency that is now being fed by the fertile terrain. So the water pump makes fertile terrain, doesn't just make water, but it also makes fertile terrain appear around the edges of the water, which gives me a bunch of cash. Now I could place another one. if I wanted to try to extend the water even further down this guy, but it wouldn't quite make it all the way down the left side tributary there. So I'm going to worry about solving that problem later. The thing I definitely need some rocks down here so that I can power stuff. So this is a calcifier. I'm not exactly sure how it is supposed to work exactly, but what it does is it takes the grass, or it has to be placed in water, then it takes the bordering grass around it and turns it into rocks. So now I have rocks down in this bottom corner, which will allow me to place more windmills. So now I place a windmill. And then... okay, yeah, it looks like I can't place this guy right here. So what are the requirements of this guy? So, okay, so it has to be built on blasted terrain. It can't actually be built on fertile terrain. So I'll place it here. There's this one little tile I didn't get, and that's going to drive me crazy. Before I place any more greenhouses, I want to extend the range of my scrubbers as far as I can, because I'm pretty sure that the greenhouse only gives you its benefits when you place it. I'm pretty sure that, like, for instance, the areas around the periphery of this greenhouse, where its area of effect did include this area, but this area was still corrupted. I'm pretty sure that if I now uncorrupt it, that greenhouse isn't going to suddenly start making it fertile. I think that each greenhouse I place only has a one-time effect. So I have to sort of carefully prepare for them and invest beforehand before I can do it. Derek says, I'm digging the soundtrack. Is this from the game? Yeah, the soundtrack is from the game. This is the music from the game. Very relaxing and calm. Kind of nice. In fact, I could probably turn it up a little bit if I wanted to. Actually, my cursor doesn't want to leave my screen, so I would have trouble messing with OBS without causing problems. So I'm not going to do that. But, okay, so I've made some room here. And then I should do the same thing over here. I've got 748 currency, so I think I've got enough to try to cover a bunch of land with scrubbers. Okay, yeah, so I think I need to be on this side if I want to capture every last bit of this. But the scrubbers also take up a lot of territory themselves, so actually maybe that wasn't worth it. Maybe taking up this territory with the scrubber was not worth getting the small amount of scrubbiness that I got from putting it there. Put this guy there. Okay, you'll notice my currency is dropping, but it hasn't dropped that far yet. And I know I can place greenhouses. As long as I have 25, I can place greenhouses and reclaim a lot of that currency. Is it worth placing this here? Probably not. But I make bad decisions. Okay, so it looks like I probably, if I want to get water down this, I probably have to do a pump on this end. So let's place this here. Let's place a water pump. How far can I get this? Ooh, I can get it all the way down. Okay, cool. So we'll place a water pump there. And it's going to give me a little bit of currency back, which is nice, so that I can build another as far as I can reach out there. And I'll build another water pump right here. It's nice that the water pumps basically pay for themselves. Oh, just barely. So Squishy Soft says, oh, this would drive me crazy. One of the major draws of sim games is that block placement, but I do see the puzzle challenge appeal. Yeah, so it's interesting because I have played sim games, purported sim games before, where it really was just about sort of a mechanical relationship between the placement of one thing and a placement of another thing, and they felt very solvable. And when a puzzle feels like, when a game that is meant to feel like a simulation but is actually at its core a puzzle, it's very easy for it to make the simulation feel solvable. When a simulation feels like you can solve it, it stops being a fun simulation anymore. Like, simulations are only fun because they're a little bit unpredictable, and like it's like trying to surf by standing in a tide pool, standing in your surfboard. You're like, wee. It's like, you got to be riding the edge of something chaotic in order for it to be fun. And so there's a certain amount of unpredictability and a certain amount of just like, you can't perfect this, that a game has to have in order to have that kind of longevity if it's in this zone. So I think these guys might actually have just you know, this feels like it theoretically, there's versions of this game that could have been very solvable. And I appreciate the fact that the developers of this game have managed to sort of ride the edge of that problem and not go over. All right, so I've got very little space left here, but I feel like, let's see here. So I put this as far over as I can. Yeah, I just can't quite reach down here, so I think I want one more calcifier. Right there. I have to, if I let myself run out of currency, I'm screwed. So I need to be very, very cautious here. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna start placing greenhouses. So, okay, so one thing I haven't showed you about greenhouses yet is they actually have a lot of different shapes. Not only can you rotate them, you can also extend them to just be straight. So once you've got a wide territory like this, placing greenhouses is kind of like Tetris. Like, you're just trying to find the right places to fit these things together as efficiently as possible. Like, you want to be able to place, because each greenhouse costs 25. You want to be able to place as few greenhouses as possible to cover as much terrain as possible. Okay, so now we've got more currency, so now I feel like, yeah, I can scrub this terrain. I can almost, there we go. I can scrub that terrain. That terrain. So I'm placing these scrubbers kind of densely, which actually, I mean, this might not be the best way to do it. I'm not sure. But no, if you don't plan ahead, if you don't understand the game, you can screw yourself. Like, you can get yourself into a position where you, you've got a full, like, up here. I'm not actually sure what I'm going to do up here. I can get, oh wait, no, there's one more tool I haven't showed you yet. Never mind. I will show you that. Just let me get myself some more currency because it's the most expensive tool. But I do have one more tool that we can bring to bear here. Okay, let's see. I think this is where we want that. So the tank says, I asked for a Switch for Christmas on a whim because I wanted to play that little train game you showcased before. What was it called again? It's called Unrailed. And yeah, so I still haven't managed to, I need to play that with my kids. I have not actually managed to play that in co-op yet. And that seems like the right way to play that game. And so, yeah, so I need to check that again. Check that out again, too. Greetings Car says, I like it when a game behaves like a simulator, but is crafted such that you engage with it as an active participant. Usually the more active, the better. Yeah, it's like, it's an interesting balancing act, right? Because it's a certain amount of, when you're making a game that's supposed to feel like a simulation, there's a certain amount of it that needs to have a lot of randomness and unpredictability. Whether it's randomness or whether it's just unpredictability, those are two different things. But what it needs is unpredictability. It's like you need to have, it needs to be able to surprise you and present you with outcomes and challenges and complex consequences you couldn't quite just plan ahead for precisely. But at the same time, if that takes over too much, then you feel like you don't have any agency, and then you feel like you can't engage with it. It's like, well, I can watch this happen, but I don't have any control over it. That's the thing that we're actually struggling with State of Decay 2, which is, it's very, there's lots of aspects of our game that are very unpredictable, and we don't want to lose that because that's a really important, essential part of the game, part of it being a zombie survival simulator. But at the same time, when players feel like they don't have enough agency over the simulation, that undermines their ability to have any fun with it. It's like, oh, neat simulation, but I'll go somewhere else, unless we get that balance right. Oh, yeah, Zarnathian points out that Unrailed isn't just on the Switch, it is on lots of things. I played it on the Switch, but yeah, it's available in a lot of different places. Okay, so the last tool is the excavator. So you'll notice I've got an area up here where there's no river, which means I can't put stones there, which means that I probably won't be able to get power deep enough into it to place scrubbers. So what I can do is place an excavator. So, okay, so it's going to need power, but it basically projects a river in a certain direction, which gives you the ability, theoretically, to get water down it and then to get a windmill at the end of it. So, and I can put it here too. Okay, so the challenge is I have to place something that creates power in a position where it can power not only this, but also the water pump that's going to get water down the trench. And that's the mistake I made with my first playthrough, was I placed an excavator in a position where it was barely at the edge of my outermost windmill, and it had power, but then I could not place a water pump in its trench. So let's start with a calcifier. Right there. And it's because I've already collected the cash from this greenery, I don't think I need to care that I'm turning it into rocks. I think that doesn't matter at all to the outcome. Okay, so then, I guess, yeah, it'll be useful to place it. Actually, I kind of want to place it as far to the left as possible to make sure that I can cover the left side here with scrubbers. Okay, now that I've got power there, I can put the excavator down. Oh, interesting. The excavator is blocked by rocks. I did not know that. Okay, so I'll place it here. Oh, and interesting. Oh, the existing pump I have is already pushing water down the trench because it's connected. Interesting. I didn't know that the pump continued to have its effect like that. That's pretty cool. Well, okay, I'd like for it to go a little further, though. But, I wonder, how far out can I put this? Only there? Part of me wonders if I should try to get another excavator. Well, I can't. You know what? I can't put another excavator on this because there's no power up in this corner, so never mind. And excavators are expensive. So I'm going to place this here in case I, in the future, get another excavator up there. But, oh, wait. This is... Oh, okay, good. It did have its effect. All right, so now we've got a problem. These cost 75. I've got 100 left. So I would need to place... What would I need to place? Okay, so I can place one of these. These cost 75. Right, these cost 75, and the windmills cost 75. I can't afford to place both. Similarly, I can't afford to place a windmill and a scrubber. So I need to place a greenhouse that is not going to be maximally efficient. Because that is the only way I'm going to get the currency I need to make this work. So this greenhouse, I hate... So I want to put it here because that's going to give me more currency. But right here, I cover more ground. Okay, I've got to maximize my profits here. Okay, so I need to stop worrying about this project up here. I did not have enough money to do this project because I think I need to be more profitable now. So placing a turbine up here, followed by another scrubber, I can just barely afford to do that. But I need 150 to also place a greenhouse to take advantage of it. Dang it. And I'm assuming, yeah, that's not going to be profitable at all. So I might have just screwed myself over. By doing this before gathering more money over here, I might have just screwed myself over. I'm trying to think, is there anything... Because, I mean, okay, I could place this greenhouse first. That minimizes the potential impact of future greenhouses in this area, but... Okay, let's do that, because I think it's the only thing I can do. Oh! What? Oh, did I... Okay, so here's something I didn't know about the game. Apparently there's a threshold I can hit where I win. I hadn't done that before. Okay, cool. Well, ending currency amount, total currency earned, 10 times the number of buildings. So if I do it with fewer buildings, I end up with a higher score. Difficulty multiplier. Okay. Cool. Well, that is Terra Nil. So I'm just going to play the one session right now so you can sort of see how it works. But you can see that now that I've reclaimed this area, there's a new area unlocked. I imagine... Oh, here we go. Tier 2 building, Tier 3. What? There's more buildings? What? There's a new type of map? Okay. Okay, you know what? We're not going to play a full other session, but I do want to see how it advances. So let's take one more step forward. Oh, so there's new biomes, huh? Okay, let's see what this is. The tank asked if this is on PC only. Yeah, this is an itch game. I'm pretty sure that it's only on PC. Welcome to Terra Nil, la la la. Okay, I had not been watching this down here, this percentage of the map that I've reclaimed. Of course, that makes perfect sense that they would have a victory condition like that. Obviously, there were multiple territories that needed to be unlocked. I could see that at the very beginning. Of course, there needed to be a way for me to succeed. Yeah, I just hadn't thought through that far. All right, so floodplain. I think this is going to rely a lot more on excavators. We've got this, is this like raised territory here? Interesting. Okay, you know, let's take another couple steps. I keep thinking I'm done, but I want to find out what's working here. So these are tier 1 buildings. I wonder what's going to unlock tier 2 buildings. Well, let's start by checking it out up here. Let's place a scrubber up here. And then, actually, let's start with a water pump. Oh, so the water pump can't pump up a waterfall. Of course it can't. That would be so I have to put it, if I want to get all this water, I have to put it atop the water pump. Now, I don't actually need that water up there. I can do fine without it, but actually, though, I wonder if water counts as percentage reclaimed. It probably does. So it's probably good for me to place it here. So now it's going to be pumping water down into the floodplain. Jedi Cytric says it's free. I forgot. Is it free? Oh, so it's donation. I paid $5 for it. So yeah, I think you have the opportunity to make a donation, but they don't require you to pay. So if you want to play it for free, you can. But if you can afford to pay the developers money, it's advisable, you know. So, all right. So I guess I'm going to try to place more scrubbers around here as efficiently as I can. Like there, for instance. And like here. And again, I'm going to try to scrub as much territory as I can first before I start placing, what are those things called? Greenhouses. Because I want to maximize the output of the greenhouses. It is kind of funny to be playing an environmental game where I'm thinking mostly about effectively my profit margin. But that's actually, you know, like one of the theories people have is like one of the best things you can do to benefit the environment is, you know, take people's existing profit motives and find a way to tweak them so that they're working in favor of the environment rather than against it. Okay, so I'm not going to bother placing a water pump here because what I want is a water pump up here. So let's place this guy. Let's place the water pump on top of the waterfall. And then let's get this scrubber out as far along the ledge as we can. Not a fan of this spot. Okay, that's cool. Okay, so yeah, so because this is a floodplain, that means that there's a lot of area over here that is just not reached by the rivers. And so I am going to have to be saving up for excavators. Now, I can... Luckily, there's this pile of rocks here. Which will let me almost be able to place this guy in the perfect spot, but not quite. Ah, that's frustrating. Well, we only have to get 50%, so we're going to accept a little bit of imperfection. Perfect is the enemy of the good. But you'll see me making inefficient decisions just because it's pretty. And it's kind of like how, we make you decide between fast searching and slow searching in State of Decay, but the only cost, fast searching has no benefit. It has a cost because it could potentially attract zombies. It has no benefit besides just making it go faster for you. And that's it. That's the only benefit that it has. And people are like, that's so silly. Why do you do that? It's just about someone's personal comfort. Well, you have to sacrifice your personal comfort in order to make the more careful, clever choice. And it says, I feel like it says a lot about you if you can't. And this game is doing a similar thing where it's like, my desire to fill every crack is inefficient. Like I am working against myself when I try to fill every crack rather than trying to maximize the territory that I'm covering. But I can't stop. And that is probably a weakness in my personality, but it's also, part of my motivation playing this game is it's so fun to try to perfect these things. So I'm not going to feel too bad about it. Oh, wait. So, okay, we can also place this guy here, running dangerously low on currency, so I gotta watch every single purchase. At some point very soon, I'm gonna have to start placing greenhouses. That point is now. If I place one more scrubber, I'm screwed. So let's start with the greenhouses. So how... I think this is probably the best move here. Though that was not maximally efficient. Actually, no, I should be working only right now, initially at least, in the territory where I really can completely use every single tile of greenhouse effect. Well, greenhouse effect means a completely different thing in this game compared to what it means in other contexts. There actually aren't that many places where I'm not wasting greenhouse to some degree or another. And that's really interesting to me. I like how somehow they vaguely justify the weird shape of the greenhouse's area effect by saying, well, it's an L-shaped building, obviously. I'm like, that's not how greenhouses work. But it's fine. It's totally fine. It's great. Okay, we are getting into the territory where these are getting less and less efficient. Okay, but we've built up enough cash now that we can keep going forward. Am I going to do an entire 2 sessions of this game? I kind of have to go to do something with my kids in like 10 minutes, and so I'm probably not going to finish this board. But that's okay. We'll leave that as an exercise for the reader. I mean, this game is free, theoretically. You could go out and try it yourself, so maybe I won't feel too bad about if I need to cut it short. All right, so we've got an area over here that we can start claiming. Not a fan of that, but I think this placement is more efficient than a lot of the alternatives, so still going with it. We got this gap here, but we can cover this gap with a calcifier and another one of these guys. That guy can reach out there, and this guy can reach out here. And this guy can not quite perfectly cover all this terrain. Grr. I think he covers more if I put it... Okay, actually, if I place this one... Oh, there's no perfect way to do it. I'm going to do that. Not going to place anything here. Not worth it at all. All right, we're at 27%. We're only, like, close to halfway, or just a little past halfway to our goal. Let's see what happens as we start placing these guys. We claim all of that. Claim all of that. We're up to 35%. I guess that kind of works. I kind of want to be able to extend the scrubbed range a little further before I claim these guys. Okay, maybe it's excavator time. So the excavator, I forgot about this. It unscrubs the area around it. So okay, if I was good at this game, what I would have done was plan ahead, not place this scrubber here because I was going to put an excavator here. Because now I'm going to undo the value of this scrubber. And that's not going to be cool. Yeah, wherever I put this right now is going to undo a lot of work. That's not cool at all. And I also have to remember that I have to be able to place a pump within range. Okay, so what happens if I dig underneath a scrubber? What happens then? Let's just find out. Oh, maybe that wasn't underneath. Maybe that was just right alongside. Okay. All right, so that spot is annoying. I mean, I guess I could place another scrubber. You can't take down your old buildings. I could place another scrubber, whoop-de-doo, and take it back. But you should definitely plan ahead. And the places where you know you need excavators, you need to plan ahead and not scrub them until after the excavator's there. All right, so we'll do this. Yeah, the tank, I'm pretty sure I can't destroy buildings. Like, if I can, I don't see the mechanism that would allow me to do it. Yeah, so folks are asking, where are the other buildings? I don't see tier 2. That's true. It did tell me that I unlocked tier 2 buildings, but I see a 1 here that seems to indicate that that's what I've got is tier 1 buildings. I don't know if there's like an unlock screen or like the tank says maybe there's an unlock menu that he missed. Maybe there's something on the front end that allows me to unlock buildings and they would just swap out these buildings for better versions of the same buildings. I'm really, really not sure. Yeah, SquishySoft is suggesting clicking the eye above the windmill, but that's not. I click that, it doesn't do anything. SCP says, I still believe they can make the game more challenging. Possibly, certainly so far. This does seem like I feel pretty confident that I can figure out how to do well at this game. But this is only the second level, so I'm not really sure how true that is over the long haul. Okay, so now if I'm going to need to take even more territory, before I start placing scrubbers, I should think about, will I need another excavator? I might want one here, maybe. I don't have a lot of currency, but let's start by placing scrubbers up on this end first. And then, yeah, there's just... Interesting. Why does the power not extend into this area? Oh, no, it's because these have to be placed on... They have to be placed on nasty terrain. That's right. Okay, so I can't place one right here to capture this area. I have to place it on this sort of unspoiled nastiness. So, talk about spoiling nastiness. How is that a thing? Jedi Citrix points out, I only need 11% more of the map. Yeah, I don't know how much that is, though. Okay, you know what? Because we're kind of low on time anyway, I'm going to take a flying leap and guess that I've got 11% here to burn. So let's try this. We'll claim that. We'll claim that. It's looking potentially promising. We'll claim that. We're so close. We're so close. And this might put us over. Okay, we did it! All right, I didn't screw myself as badly as I thought I had. So, and we had 840 currency left, which I think will affect my score. So you've successfully repopulated the wasteland with plant life. Now increase the biodiversity of the ecosystem with these biomes. Press the What? Okay, so first I have to accomplish the same goal as I did the first game, but now there's a secondary goal? There's a whole new set of things to discover? Okay, but I think this video is over because I'm gonna need to like go upstairs and check on my kids and stuff like that. So, okay, this game just got more interesting. I'm getting increasingly excited, and you know what? Maybe there is some Factorio in this coming down the line. I assumed from my experience with the very first session, this was more like Islanders. Maybe it's about to become more like Factorio. So that is that's going to be interesting to find out. Anyway, so this video's over. You can subscribe. You can look at some other videos. You can do all kinds of things. And for those of you watching me live on the stream, I'll be back in just a second.